Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. and this on the Eastern Time Zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can find us on television, and we are syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. You can also find us all over social media. Continue sending emails, by the way. It definitely makes my day. Donna at donnasedge.com, Donna at donnasedge.com, where we are celebrating 20 years of being on the air. And it's all because of you. And we also have the absolute best sponsors and the absolute best guests there is. As a matter of fact, one of the sponsors is running such a super deal right now. Go to mypillow.com and you want to use the promo code Donna, D-O-N-N-A. And this is what happens. The Percale sheets that are normally like, way over $100 are on sale, whatever size you want while supplies last. Whatever size you want, $20 for the whole set. $20. Use promo code Donna and you'll get a good deal. Okay, I wanted to talk to you about 12 tips for lowering your tax bill. Tax season. I wait until the very last minute to get it done. Getting it done this coming Thursday, so I will barely slide through and make it on time. But I wanted to talk to you about that. A few things that you can know ahead of the schedule will save you lots and lots of money. Now, remember this, tax laws do change every single year, okay? So what I'm telling you about right now is to be ahead of the game 2025. So let's go ahead and talk about some of those. I can find this on a website called nerdwallet.com. I refer to that website a lot, nerdwallet.com. Yeah, geek nerd like me, nerdwallet.com. 12 tips for lowering the tax bill. So if you've already filed the tax return this year, maybe you had some unpleasantness that went along with that. Maybe you had to pay a little bit more than you thought you would. Could be because you just didn't know quite what being on top of the game was all about. So I'm going to help you. We're talking about the year 2025, okay? And this is what you need to be thinking about now. Number one, tweak your W-4. Tweak it. Let's see what they mean by that. So the W-4, you know that's a form. You fill out to tell your employer how much tax to withhold from each paycheck. If you've received a huge tax bill in the past and don't want another surprise next year, raise the tax withholding amount so you owe less when it's time to file your tax return. Now, let me tell you my misgivings about that, okay? This comes from many years of being on planet Earth, so I've got a little bit of experience here. You're giving the tax folks, you're giving the federal government basically a loan. The more taxes that you have taken out, let me tell you what I suggest you do. Don't let them take out so much. You're not going to earn any kind of dividend or anything by giving the federal folks more money. So here's what you do. If you think you may have to pay in next year, save back some money, put it in an account, make the interest on it your own self. A lot of banks are doing that right now. CDs, there's one with Wells Fargo where you can get almost 4%, and you only have to keep it in the account. It's either 6 to 9 months, something like that. You don't have to do any like long term. As a matter of fact, they're paying right now on shorter terms more interest than they are if you were to take out a 3-year CD. So think about that. Put some money to the side. You make the interest on that, okay? But the Nerd Wallet tells you that you want to give them more money. Do that if you want to. But I just prefer to make the interest myself. Okay, and then here's the close of it right here. If you've previously received a big refund, do the opposite and reduce your withholding. Otherwise, you could be needlessly living on less of your paycheck all year. Kind of saying what I said. And you can change your W-4 at any time. There's no penalty to do that. Okay. Number 2, and this is learn more about your 401k if you have one. Less taxable income means less tax. And 401ks are a popular way to reduce the tax bill. Now, the IRS doesn't tax what you divert directly from your paycheck onto a 401k. So you're saving right now. Now, you will pay later. Okay, if you take that out and cash it out, you will have to pay taxes on it. Now, in 2025, this is what they're telling us. You can contribute up to $23,500 per year into an account. Those who are 50 and older can contribute An additional $7,500, while those in ages 60 to 63 can contribute an extra $11,250. Now, these retirement accounts are usually sponsored by employees. Although self-employed like me, people can open up their own 401ks. And if your employer matches some or all of your contribution, you get free money to boot. Now, let me talk about this. I talked just a moment ago about your bank. Now, as you can probably imagine, for some reason or another, your bank is not going to call you up and say, hey, we're offering more interest in such and such. You know why? Because they're making less money and you're going to be making more money. It's up to you to pick up the phone and call your bank or go online and see what they're offering. So we had a little money setting aside, didn't know what to do with it. Just happened to go on my bank account on the website, and I saw where they were doing the 4%. And 4% nowadays is pretty decent. So I went on ahead, and now some banks will let you do it online, and that's what ours did. So we were able to do it online. But now it's up to you to pick up the phone and call them. They're not going to go out there and give it to you, okay? So you need to be on top of things. Okay, let's see. Let's look at looking into an IRA. Now, there are two major types of individuals, individual retirement accounts, both IRAs. That's the Roth IRA and the traditional IRA. Now, let's go ahead and see if we can figure this one out. You may be able to deduct contributions made to a traditional IRA, though how much you can deduct depends on whether you or your spouse is covered by a retirement plan at work and how much you make. For example, in 2025, taxes filed in 2026, when you're going to do that, you may not be able to deduct your contributions if you're covered by a retirement plan at work, you're married and filing jointly, and your modified adjustment gross income was $146,000 or more. There are limits to how much you can put in an IRA too. For example, 2025, the limit is $7,000 per year. Now it's $8,000 per year for folks who are 50 years and older. You may have until the tax filing deadline to refund your IRA for the previous tax year, which gives you extra time to take advantage of this strategy. Note this, that the contribution limit is a combined limit. And what that means, you would hit the 2025 contribution limit if you put $3,000 into a traditional IRA and $4,000 into a Roth. See what I mean? You really, really need to be on top of this game right here. And again, call your bank. Okay, save for college. Okay, so setting aside money for a child's tuition can shave a few bucks off the tax bill too. A popular option is to make contributions to a 529 plan. Now, that's a savings account operated by a state or an educational institution. Do you need to check up on that? You can deduct your contributions on your federal income taxes, but you might not be able to on the state return if you're putting money in your state's 529 plan. Be aware that you may have to file a gift tax return if your contributions plus any other gifts to a particular beneficiary exceed $19,000. Remember, that's the magic number, $19,000 in the year 2025, right now as we're speaking. Okay, number 5. This is to fund your FSA. Now, the IRS lets you funnel tax-free dollars directly from your paycheck into a flexible sending account. That is a FSA, a flexible spending account, every year. So if your employer offers an FSA, you might want to take advantage of it to lower your tax bill. Let's dig a little bit deeper. You'll have to use the money during the calendar year for medical and dental expenses, but you might also be able to use it for related everyday items like bandages, prescriptions, and glasses or contacts for yourself and your qualified dependents. Now, some employers might let you carry money over to the next year. You got to check with that. Okay, if you don't use it in a lot of cases, you lose it. Okay, so check on that. Now, in 2025, the FSA contribution limit is $3,300, and rollovers are limited to $660. Okay, but whatever you can roll over, do so. Number 6, subsidize your dependent care FSA. Now, this FSA with a twist is another handy way to reduce your tax bill. if your employer offers it. Now, what's covered can vary among employers, so check the details of your plan. Now, I emphasized if your employer offers it. Let me tell you what you need to do. It never hurts to ask, right? That's my motto. What can they say? No. Why don't you and say some of your fellow employees get together, have a little session, and talk about some of the things you would like for the employer to offer to you. Doesn't hurt. Maybe a number of you would rather have the FSA. Maybe some of you would rather have the IRA. Maybe just whatever. Get together with the other employees. Now, you need to type it up, okay? Because bosses want things in a one-page format, okay? If you give them gibberish and it's 50 pages of nothing, they're not going to look at it. Put everything you can, have those pinpoints right there on that one page. Then all get together, set up an appointment. Don't just bust in on your boss, but set up an appointment, go in and talk to him or her, and have a copy for them. Each one of you have a copy, and then you explain it in detail what it's about, okay? So you want to put the pinpoints on there, maybe 5, 6, not do more than 6, 5 or 6 of what would benefit the company, okay? It's okay to benefit you, but you also want, he's got to hear or she has to hear that it's going to benefit the company. And having happier employees is something that an employer really does love to hear. Okay, so make sure you put that in there. Suggest you do that. What can they say? No? Because sometimes, and I'll just tell you, I've been on that side before. You have employees, you don't know what they want because nobody will tell you anything. So, you let some salesperson talk you into something. And, and then nobody's happy. You're not happy because the employees are not happy. The employees are not happy because they're not getting what they want. So get together, guys. I'm just telling you, there's power in numbers and power in passion. And don't let it be all about you. Okay. Get out there, put the benefit of the company out there as well. Now, for 2025, the IRS will allow an exclusion of up to $5,000 of your pay that you have your employer divert into a dependent care FSA, which means you'll avoid paying taxes on that particular money. That can be a huge win for parents of young kids because before and after school, daycare, preschool, and day counts usually are allowed uses. So elder care may be included as well. Okay, but you need to find that out. Now, if you're self-employed, you need to find that out as well. What benefit from next year? If you've already had your taxes done, the year 2024, you still need to go on ahead and call back your tax person and find out, what do I need to do? What's going to make me money? You see my tax returns. You know what I spend. You know what I save. You know what I do, blah, 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 blah. What is on the horizon? What do I need to know about? Now, again, this website is nerdwallet.com, nerdwallet.com. You're going to find some juicy information there. Let's go into a commercial break, and we shall return in just a few minutes. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Because of your overwhelming support, our 1488 MyPillow has been one of the biggest sales in MyPillow history. I couldn't think of a better way to say thank you than to extend our wholesale pricing through Christmas. Get a classic standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Upgrade to a queen size, just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for only $29.88. And ready? Multi-use MyPillows, only $9.88. It's perfect time to stock up for Christmas gifts for everyone on your list. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our wholesale pricing. Including my classic standard MyPillows, only $14.88. But that's not all. I'm so confident you're going to love our classic MyPillows that I'm going to extend my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, orders over $75 ship absolutely free.
We're back. My name is Donna. I'm out here looking for you, okay? I want you to get all the tax breaks you can possibly get. My name is Donna. I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show for Truth Matters, and we're looking for truth right here, okay? I got you back, and I know you got mine too. So anything you know of that's going to help me and my taxes, please send emails. Donna@donnasedge.com. That's Donna@donnasedge.com. So how can I save money at tax time? Okay, the more you do. Now remember, your tax person can make suggestions, but it's up to you to check your own business because each person that they handle taxes for now is going to have a different need than you do. Everybody's different, right? It's like snowflakes. Okay, now find your HSA. What is FHA? So if you have a high deductible health care plan, you may be able to lighten the load by contributing to a health savings account. That's the HSA, which is a tax-exempt account you can use to pay medical expenses. Contributions to HSAs are tax deductible, and the withdrawals are tax-free too. So as long as you use them for qualified medical expenses, your employer may offer an HSA, but if you can also start out with your own account at a bank or a financial institution. Again, go with somebody who's a friendly person in your neighborhood. Talk to that banker, okay? Now, if you have a family high deductible coverage, the contribution limit is $8,550, and that's in 2025. Now, if you're 55 or older, you can put an extra $1,000 in your HSA. Okay, the rules can get complex, but if you think you'll earn less than $68,675 in 2025, the earned income tax credit might be worth looking into. Depending on your income, marital status, and how many children you have, you might qualify for a tax credit of up to $8,046 for taxes filed in 2026. Now, a tax credit is a dollar for dollar reduction in your actual tax bill, as opposed to a tax deduction, which simply reduces how much your income gets taxed. It's truly found money because if a credit reduces your tax bill below zero, the IRS might refund some or all the money to you, depending on how much credit you have. Okay, you want to just give it away? Yeah, not many people want to give it away, but giving it away can be a good thing, some of it, okay? Be smart about this. Charitable contributions are deductible, and they don't even have to be in cash. If you've donated clothes, food, old sporting gear, or household items, for example, those things can lower your tax bill if they went to a bona fide charity and you got a receipt. Okay, so Phil and I moved from Alabama to Abbeville, South Carolina, and I just gave a bunch of stuff away. And to Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop, who is located in Albertville, Alabama. But I did get a receipt. Now, sometimes you have to ask, okay, because everybody's busy. Especially if it's a charitable, and they come to your house, they're really busy over there, especially this time of the year. Remember to ask for a receipt if they don't, just say, hey, you want a receipt. So that's something you've got to have that. Now, for the 2025 tax year, you may be able to deduct 20% to 60% of your adjusted gross income for charitable donations. But this is if you itemize versus taking the standard deduction. I itemize everything. It's worth it. I have a chart and I use Excel spreadsheet. All I've got to do, I've got everything that I use. I know that I'm going to be using and spending in my business. I know because it's the same business I've had for 20 years. So you need to do that. And it'll make it easier on you. It'll make it easier on the person who files your taxes. I print it off. It's done along with whatever paperwork they need. Receipts from whatever that I've had. But now do make sure you do keep detailed receipts, okay? And be really careful because sometimes, and I've had this happen to me before, like buying fuel for the car. Believe me, we bought a bunch of fuel this year, moving to Abbeville. So sometimes you'll get a receipt that maybe it's the end of the roll, on the receipt roll, and it may be just a little bit blurry. It may not be exact. They'll use that for an excuse sometimes not to give you that deduction. So if you have a receipt and it's not clear, do not feel a bit bad about going right back in there where the clerk is and saying, I got to have a readable receipt. Do it. You got to be able to read it. And the IRS, just in case you get audited now, they've got to be able to read that. Okay, give it away. We talked about that. Many tax software programs include modules that estimate the value of each item that you donate. So make a list before you drop off that big bag of stuff at Goodwill. It can add up to big, big deductions. Now, keep a file of your medical expenses. Luckily, I don't have that many right now. But no, I grow my food for the most part. Some things I buy. But for the most part, and I make my own vinegars. So, I take vinegar every day, all those things. And so Phil and I are pretty, for our age especially, we are pretty healthy. But do keep a file of the medical expenses. Now, if you've been in the hospital, if you've had other costly medical or dental care, keep those receipts. You can deduct qualified medical expenses that are more than 7.5% of adjusted gross income. For example, if your adjusted gross income is $40,000, anything beyond the first $3,000 of medical bills, 7.5% of your AGI could be deductible. If you rang up $10,000 in medical bills, $7,000 of it could be deductible. Okay, now number 11, consider selling stocks weighing down your portfolio. Knowing you're getting a tax deduction might make it a little easier to unload some of those bad stock picks that have been weighing down your portfolio. You can deduct losses on stock sales, which can offset any taxable capital gains that you might have. Now, the limit that offset is $3,000 or $1,500 for married couples filing separately. One other note, if you decide to buy back your stock in 30 days, the IRS can take back that deduction. So don't just go sell it knowing you're going to be buying it back. You'll have to give it back. And you know how they are. They could charge you some interest for that. Yeah, sad but true. Okay, now let's talk a little bit more about getting the timing right, because the timing is everything, okay? So from a tax perspective, there's a huge difference between doing something by December the 31st and doing it a day later. Okay, so don't wait until the last minute. Don't be a procrastinator about this, because again, on my computer, and I need one thing that I have procrastinated about, I do need to keep a backup. What if something were to happen to my computer? Everything would be gone. I'd have to start all over again. So do a backup, have a thumb drive, do something, save it to the cloud, do something just in case something were to happen. All that hard work, then you got to start all over again. Now, if you know an upcoming expense is going to be tax deductible, think about whether you can pay for it this year rather than the next year. Making January's mortgage payment in December, for example, can give you an extra month's worth of mortgage interest to deduct this year. Also, if you know you're near the threshold for the medical expense deduction, moving that root canal up makes me hurt just to think about it. Moving that root canal up might make the pain more bearable if the cost suddenly becomes deductible. as well. Those are some things that you really need to know at tax time, because I'm just telling you, I hope you got a good tax person. And let me tell you something, and I'm getting a little bit political right here. I would much rather have a tax person who is a conservative rather than the one that's a liberal. And let me tell you why. I've got liberal friends. I know how y'all are, okay? So if I have a conservative who's handling my taxes, I feel like they're going to be looking more at my best interest. But now they've got to be honest, okay? They don't want it all about Donna, okay? So a good tax person is going to know the red flags that the IRS will have out there to audit you. So you got to have that person on your side, okay? I've had my taxes done in the past before where I was going to deduct something, and I remember her saying that this year, I happen to know that's a red flag. You got your receipts? No, I'd say, I sure do. And then she would say, all right, well, you got your receipts, then we're going ahead and do it. But she always asks if I have receipts. Now, you need to make sure you got all of those things in a good place just in case you're to get audited. I did get audited once. Okay. It wasn't near, you watch these movies where, the people from the IRS are coming into your house, they're tearing everything up, they're pulling out your, laundry drawers, trying to find stuff in that. It wasn't that way at all. So I got a phone call. We were living in Alabama, Anniston, Alabama. Some of y'all know it from South Carolina. And so get a call and a letter telling me that I'm going to be audited. Well, I was very young. I guess I was probably about 24, 25 years old or something like that. And it was just me being audited. So I'm freaking. I called the guy, and this is back before the computers and all that kind of stuff. So all that stuff had to be, it was all like homemade stuff, Donna's file folder. Okay. So I had this like accordion file that I kept all of my receipts in. It seemed like sometimes I was more, I had more organized back in those days than I am now. So I had gasoline receipts, and I was a manager of a big cosmetic company at that time. So I kept all of my receipts. That's what my boss hounded into my head. Keep everything. Even if you go out with a client, you only have a cup of coffee, keep that, write that off on your taxes too. And I believe that. So anyway, I was audited. I was very nice and very courteous to the man who was auditing me. Told me to meet him at the Anniston City Meeting Center, which I did. I brought everything in. I was yes, sir, no, sir. Anything else you need, sir? I was very kind to that man. See, a lot of folks get really like cranky at the person who's auditing them. They're just doing their job. The nicer you are, the nicer it's going to be on you. So then just a couple of days later, he called me and said, okay, come get your receipts. Well, I'm still freaking. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be paying in thousands of dollars. I'm going to go bankrupt. I was just thinking, oh yeah, you do, especially when you're young, your imagination goes crazy. So I go in and, hi, sir, Donna, I'm here to get my tax things. And he just looks at me and I said, so what happened? And he said, oh, you're good. Just get your receipts. And then he just looked at me and he said, thank you for being kind. He said, there are people that I can give a hard time if they just throw their stuff on my desk and tell me to go at it. And he said, but you were organized. Everything was in the files. I don't think he really even looked at it. I think he was seeing if he could intimidate me, which he did. But anyway, everything came out good in that deal. The nicer you are to the person who audits you, the nicer things will turn out. Now, if you've done something screwy and you've messed it up, you're going to have to pay for it, okay? But if you do all you can do and you've done everything that you knew to do and you did it the right way, you'll be just fine. So don't freak it out. Thank you so much for watching Donna's Edge. My name is Donna Feazell, and I am your host. Been doing it for 20 years, and you're a big part of the reason I do what I do. Continue sending emails. I love them. Donna@donnasedge.com. That's Donna@donnasedge.com. Thanks for watching.